From CBS 2 Chicago at Basta Pasta on Chicago's Northwest Side, Com Disco presents Overtime with Mike North. Tonight's guest, Atlanta Braves pitcher Tom Glavine. And now, your Emmy Award-winning host from The Score, Sports Radio 1160, Mike North.
Welcome to Com Disco's Overtime with Mike North from Basta Pasta, the Northwest Side of Chicago on CBS 2 Chicago. And all I'm going to say about this guy is he's a two-time Cy Young Award winner, a world champion, World Series, playoffs, every single year. The guy's going to be in the Hall of Fame some days. Like, he's only like 28 years old. No, he's a little bit older than that, but he's already got 180 wins. He's on his way maybe to a possible 300 career-type win situation with his career. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Glavine of the Braves. Hello, Tom.
Oh.
What's going on, buddy? Sit down. How do you like the chairs, huh?
I like it.
We got these at a rummage sale. Well, Tom, you know what? You ate good. You finally ate good. You live in Atlanta where they put ketchup on the spaghetti, you know, so you finally ate something good, D. And
well,
you should see this guy eat.
Real pizza. It was good. It was good.
And what else did you have?
Chicken, potatoes, apple pie. I had it all.
You're not pitching tomorrow?
No, I'm off tomorrow.
All right. So when do you pitch next?
Friday in Milwaukee.
Okay, so you know what? Let's talk about that right off the bat. Are you disturbed by what's going on in Major League Baseball? There was an article in the paper today by Carol Slazak of the Sun-Times saying, now it's become monotonous. It's become boring. The game of Major League Baseball has gone the other way where it's a stale product because all the scores are 10-6, 12-8, 14-6. Are you guys concerned as players? And as a league, should they be concerned?
I don't know if guys as players are concerned. I don't know if the leagues are concerned. Personally, I don't like it. I think the game has changed too much. It's gotten way away from, I think, the essence of what baseball is, and it's for 100 and some odd years now. It's been about good pitching and good defense, and you know, now it's gotten to be more offensively, and you know, I mean, it was 2 or 3 years ago that everybody was given these strict orders. We got to hurry up and speed up the game, the pace of the game, and we got to get in and out under 2.5 hours because we can't hold people's attention longer than that. And now every game is 10-8, and it's 3.5, 4 hours. And I don't like that. And it's not just because I'm a pitcher. I thought that article in the paper today hit the nail on the head. It gets very monotonous watching home run after home run and home run from guys who really shouldn't be hitting the kind of home runs that they are.
I agree. And how about maybe you think baseball and by the way, Tom's in charge of the whole players union. I mean, he's the representative for the whole league.
I'm not in charge, but I'm a
Donald Fear's in charge, but you're very active, right?
Yes, very.
Do you guys propose rule changes? I mean, do you meet with baseball's brass and propose rule changes? Because I got to believe maybe raising the mound might be in the offing here if things start to get completely out of control.
You know, I think that we're definitely at the point where baseball has to consider that. You know, it seems like every rule change that has been instituted since Bob Gibson had that year in 1969.
One pitcher had one hell of a year, and they changed everything.
Changed everything. You know, it seems like everything that's happened since then has been with the mindset of somehow giving an advantage to offense. And whether it's lowering the mound or shrinking the strike zone or every new ballpark that's built now that is home run friendly, everything's been changed for the benefit of offense. And the tide has been so far tilted the other way that I think it's at a point now where you have to start thinking about, well, what can we do to try and tilt the scale back the other way and maybe have a
They won't even give you foul territory anymore.
No,
we don't. These new ballparks now, they have no foul territory.
And that's so overlooked because you know, as a pitcher now, you're losing, you know, probably 5 or 6 outs a game on foul balls that, you know, may seem insignificant, but when you make a nasty pitch to a guy like a Barry Bonds or a Tony Gwynn or some of these other guys, and in years past it was a foul ball out, now you've got to turn around and make another nasty pitch to these guys. It's not happening a lot, and you know, it's a very insignificant thing, I think, in a lot of people's minds, but when you're forced to make 2 quote-unquote out pitches to great hitters, it's very difficult to do.
All right, we're going to be back with Tom Glavine. More with Tommy right after these messages. We're back with Tommy Glavine of the have, I think, I think I have a great job. I mean, I know I have a great job. I get to talk on the radio and then to do some TV and make appearances, stuff like that. But I don't believe there's a better job in America than being a starting pitcher if you're winning. If you're winning.
I won't argue that. But that's
what do
a
you
big,
do?
That's,
well, yeah. If you
variable.
lose, it's a long 4 days.
Yes.
But if you win, like you've won your whole career, what do you do those other 4 days?
Guys are different. Usually the day after you win is kind of your, as we call it, it's your dig me day. You kind of sit back and let everybody dig you because you pitched a good game, you know? But
you don't have to do anything the day after.
No, I do. The day after I pitch is my big workout day. I've kind of gotten pretty big into lifting weights and during the season and trying to keep my strength throughout the season. So the day after I pitch is probably
But if
my
you're Alex
biggest weight
Fernandez,
day.
you just eat.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, my cycle is kind of the day after I pitch is my big weight day. The second day is my big running day.
Or you do run around a couple laps?
No, I hate running outside. I get on a treadmill and do some kind of program.
Like
so
for like a mile or two?
probably no. It's like a two mile program, a 20-minute interval type of deal.
Okay. And then you're done?
And then I'm done,
You
and
get
then I throw on
uniform.
the side.
Okay.
And then the third day, workout and run, throw on the side. And then the fourth day, the day before I pitch, is just kind of don't do a lot. Just play a little catch and get ready for the game.
Is Leo Mazzoni, your pitching coach, a lot like Phil Jackson? Phil Jackson's been blessed. He had Michael Jordan, and now he's got Shaq. Leo Mazzoni has Glavine, had Smoltz, Maddox, Millwood. I mean, is Leo Mazzoni a good coach, or is he just a guy that likes to rock a lot and go, look at my guys, look at my guys?
Leo, he does a good job. He has a lot of things to offer. If you want to get under Leo's skin, you tell him he has the easiest job in baseball. That will get under his
Like if
skin.
he tries to give like Maddox or you a tip, you guys roll your eyes. Okay, Leo.
No, I don't think so. I don't, and I don't think Greg does either. I think that as players, you have respect for the coaches and the people that are around you, and I guess a lot of it for me comes from my dad. My dad always used to tell me, it doesn't take you any time to listen to what somebody has to say, and you don't ever know if what somebody has to say is going to be something that helps you. So I try and listen to whoever it is, really, and particularly our coaches. And then it's up to you to figure out if what somebody's telling you is helpful or not helpful. You can't be naive enough to the point where every guy who throws advice at you, you go out there and you pitch and you try it. You want to throw some advice at me, that's fine. I'll listen to it. I may try it on the side when I throw in between starts. And if it shows signs of being effective over there, if an opportunity comes up during a game, I might try it. But I, as an individual, have to be smart enough to weed things out that are and are not going to be successful for me.
I remember during the strike year, you took a lot of heat. And I like you. You've always been a great interviewer. And you were the guy that stepped up. And you took some of the heat for a lot of the players. And now that everything's over, I got to ask you this. Do you think there will ever be another strike in baseball? I mean, what's going on as far as player relations and the ownership is going now? Are they trying to sign a long-term deal? What's this current contract going to and stuff like that?
I think the current deal is up. It's actually up at the end of this year, but we have the option to renew it for 2001, which we're 99.9% certain that we're going to do. So
so we could be going through another deal like this in the year 2000.
probably 2 years from now. But I think that my personal feeling is it won't happen. I think that all of us learned a very valuable lesson the last time around, and I think that we're all of the mindset that we're going to be smart enough to figure something out before it gets to that point. And
is it time to start thinking about this stuff now, or are we going to wait till the last minute?
No, I think there has been discussions that have gone on already. To what level, I'm not 100% sure. Probably not to an extensive level, but the line of communications have been opened, and I think both sides are aware that this obviously is coming up, and we're going to try and get something
What would
done.
be a player's gripe right now? I guess the average salary is $1.2 million for like a second-string second baseman or something like that. What would be the main gripe right now for a baseball player, if any?
It'll probably be the same thing as it was in '94. If the owners came to us and said, "Look, we're going to get we want a salary cap, and we're going to get it at any and all costs," a salary cap is not a word or a phrase that we're very fond of. So if that were the case, if it was a salary cap or nothing, then we've got another fight on our hands. But if they come to us and say, look, we have some problems and here's how we want to address them, and everything does not revolve around a salary cap or nothing, then you have the lines of communication open and you
How about
work
if they
on it.
set the salary cap at $100 million, okay? And then every 2 or 3 years, they'd move it up 10, 20 million. Would you have a problem with that? Because nobody's got that, nobody has spent $100 million yet. Would you have a problem with that? Or would you rather there be no salary cap at all? And maybe the owners are getting a break this way, who knows?
You know, the easy answer for me to say is no, I don't want a salary cap, period. You know, but I think when you talk about a salary cap and you say, okay, we're going to have a $100 million salary cap, that is okay for some teams, but it still doesn't address the problems of you know, Milwaukee or Montreal or the perennial small market teams that everybody talks about, because if you have a salary cap at $100 million, those teams can't afford to spend that money anyway.
And don't make a ton anyway. What if they start winning?
So
how about revenue sharing? Are you into revenue sharing?
To me, I think revenue sharing is a big deal. Okay, I as a player, you know, and this is my belief, I don't speak for the
where
union.
everybody shares.
My belief is, you know, when the owners come after the players and say, look, we need a salary cap, it's really hard for me to buy into that when I as a player see that really the owners don't really care a whole lot about the other teams. I mean, I don't think the Yankees or the Braves or the Orioles really care about what's going on in Montreal. If they did, they'd be doing something about it. And until you show me as a player, hey, this is a serious problem and we need to address this, and this is what we as owners are going to do to address this, now we need your help, you don't have my attention. But if you're really sincere about being concerned about these teams and you're going to show me that you're going to do something about it, aside from saying, hey, we're going to have a salary cap and that's how we're going to help these teams, and then to me, that's where players have a problem. You got to really prove to us that you're concerned about these guys and you're going to make an effort to help them. Now, what can we do to help?
Yeah, Bud Selig's trying to bring baseball to Japan. He should try bringing it to Canada. They don't even have radio or TV in Montreal. We're with Tom Glavine. Back with more Tommy after this. We're back with Tom Glavine of the Atlanta Braves. I got to be honest with you. Let's talk a little bit about your teammate, John Rocker. I
can't believe it took this long.
Well, maybe it took this long. It's because I really agreed with a lot of the stuff that he had to say. I'm sorry. I just think that the guy, you know what? I think you get on that L train and see a lot of what he said he saw. Do you think that the suspension was warranted? I mean, there's a thing such as free speech now. And I'll tell you, I think even your owner, Ted Turner, agreed with a lot of stuff he said because he didn't come out harsh against him. What do you think?
This is where I got to do my high wire act and walk a straight line here. You know, I don't think there's any question that what John said was offensive, obviously, to a lot of people. And I think that Major League Baseball was caught in a situation where something like this had never happened before. And you really obviously want to send a message that, hey, we don't want this kind of thing to become the norm. We don't want this to hurt the game of baseball. And in so doing, they wanted to send a very strong message. The problem was that the message they sent was an unprecedented message. There had never been a suspension that long in the history of baseball. And you know, my background is I'm a big guy on principle and stuff like that. And the principle here is that suspension length was just never here. And if you're going to set a principle like that, you better make sure that you do everything possible to make sure that all the evidence has been heard, and if the precedent is going to be set, then so be it. But you don't just set it blindly. And I think that was the big thing for the Players Association is we have to come in and we have to grieve this thing and make sure that if the precedent is being set, we've done everything we can to make sure that all the evidence was heard and everybody's story was told, and if after that, then so be it.
The media made him a martyr.
Absolutely.
Where I had said, Christine Brennan from the USA Today wrote an article saying he was going to be booed in every ballpark, and I came on here saying, as usual, some of these writers don't know the pulse of the fans because the fans started getting sick and tired of him being the battering ram, and I guess wherever you guys go, especially in the spring, he was getting standing ovations.
In the spring he was. I'm personally, I'm not so sure that's going to be the norm.
Well, not in New York.
No, it's not. I don't think it's going to be the norm in the Northeast. I don't think it would have been the norm here in Chicago. We'll find out, I guess, a month from now when we come back.
When he comes in, it's the ninth inning, and most of the Cub fans are already hammered.
Sure.
So they don't even know who's pitching.
But
hey, look, there's Warren Spahn.
But I think that a lot of people, you're right, I think a lot of people got sick of the media attention on this thing, and whether they agreed or disagreed with what John said, I think the bottom line was that people got tired of it being the lead story on the news every night. Quite honestly, there are bigger fish to fry, and there are bigger issues in America than what John Rocker had to say, and to see that every single night that you turned on the news, I think people got tired of it, and I think that more than anything is the reason for the ovations or the receptions he got in spring training. But I still don't believe that's going to be the norm across the National League.
And now let's get to a bigger issue. The Cubs own you guys right now. What is going on? You guys are the Atlanta Braves. When you come into Wrigley Field, what happens?
I don't know. They've had our number. They had our number last year, and obviously so far this year they have. They're a classic example of what we face night in and night out, and that is that we are the Atlanta Braves, and whenever we come into a city, whatever team we're playing, no matter how bad or good a year they're having, they're ready to play us. And those 3 or 4 games that they played at that point in time either are a measuring stick for where they are at a certain point in the year, or a measuring stick later on in the year as to how far they think they need to go during the off season to catch us. So it's, in a lot of ways, it's a measuring stick for organizations, and in a lot of ways it's depending on the situation late in the year, it's their playoff series. So, we're constantly as players reminding ourselves that we got to be ready to play night in and night out, because when we step foot on that field, every team that we play wants to beat us because of who we are and what our reputation has been, and the Cubs are a perfect example of that.
We're going to be back with Tommy Glavine right after this. We're back with Tom Glavine. Tommy, we have only a few minutes left. You were like all-state in hockey and baseball in the Boston area. How close were you to? Well, you were drafted in both sports. Now, the Kings drafted you, right, in hockey?
Kings drafted me in the 4th round, and then 2 days later, the Braves in the 2nd round.
And was it a tough decision, or was it an easy decision?
No, I think it was, in the end, it was fairly easy. I mean, I was in a great position as an 18-year-old kid that
What position did you play in hockey?
I was a center.
Okay.
So as an 18-year-old kid, to be left with the choice, you can play hockey, you can play baseball, or you can go to school and play both. I couldn't have been in a better position. I mean, it was an awesome position to be in. And, I think that being a higher draft choice in baseball obviously played a factor in it, but I think when I sat down and figured out, or tried to weigh the pros and cons of both sports, the one thing that kept jumping out at me was that I was a left-handed pitcher, and that gave me.
How about the one that you could be killed playing hockey?
Well, that too, and longevity, money, all those
4
things.
4 days in each city as far as playing Major League Baseball.
All those things came into consideration, believe me. But I felt being a left-handed pitcher, I possessed a big advantage in baseball that I didn't have in hockey, and I felt like I had to take advantage of that.
When you see the pitching today, I mean, when we were kids, I mean, there was like 8 teams in each league, then it went to 10 teams in each league. I mean, a lot of guys would have been career minor leaguers that are playing now. If a team folds, let's say Montreal was to fold, would you just say let it fold? I mean, or do you keep adding teams? I mean, right now the talent's so watered down, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I think we're quickly approaching the point where we need to be careful about expansion, because you are getting to the point where the talent is getting diluted a little bit, and it's not just pitching; it's every position. I think pitching takes the brunt of it because of the increase in offense. But let's face it, there's position players that are playing the game now that wouldn't be playing the game 5 years ago. So it's all across the board. But we're there. We got to be careful about how much more we expand, because the talent to continue to go on just isn't there, and people are smart enough to see that. So we have to be careful with that.
Well, I got a feeling we're going to see you in the postseason again.
Hope so.
You guys just keep on chugging along. Everybody keeps waiting for the Braves to fold up, and it just never happens. You guys still got a lot of good years left in you. And I'll tell you what, you're a class guy. You come from a class organization, and thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Tom Glavine, the Atlanta Braves. We'll see you next next week with more Overtime with Mike North. Take care, everybody.